first joke was one caveman seeing another caveman bump his head, because it's about empathy.
Hello fans of racing and entertainment, welcome to another exciting live broadcast. I am Steve Stillman and I will be your host for today. We are here in the beautiful town of Imola in northern Italy near the city of Bologna. A Middle Ages fortress from the 13th century is still standing and it's quite formidable here. While the track is nestled into the foothills of the larger mountains to the southwest, it really doesn't feel like the track has that many elevation changes, but there's enough to keep it interesting. Introducing our broadcast team today, my co-host Jan Thornton, who's been here all weekend, is strangely absent today. From the pit area, Sarah Peterman, producer Ian Gill, and technical director and my nemesis, Richard Payne. At the last minute, in place of Jan, our producer found an actor and comedian, and most of you will recognize him. I mean, really, who needs that much attention? Our guest today is none other than Ricky Gervais. How are you?
I'm oppressed.
Well, hopefully it's nothing we've done.
I love science and it's fascinating, and I'm in awe of it, and it's going to save the world, obviously.
I'll be honest, saving the world's quite a lofty goal. Let's focus on science for a few minutes, since racing involves loads of physics and chemistry, lots of sciencey stuff.
I think comedy is surprise.
I think changing the subject is a bit of a surprise.
Comedy is about humanity, because if it's not about humanity, it's not funny.
I expect to see the frailty of humanity today from the drivers and the physics of the cars that come into conflict on the track.
I think comedy can be about empathy, because I think comedy is often laughing at the wrong thing because you know what the right thing is. Anthropologists think the first joke was one caveman seeing another caveman bump his head, because it's about empathy.
Oh, I can visualize that happening. When my eldest son was about 3 years old, he was about the height of a countertop. He just sprinted away from me in the restaurant because he didn't want to be near me. I let her ran square into the countertop overhang with his noggin and fell backwards. My wife hit me for that.
I don't think you should be ashamed of finding anything funny, because it's not your fault.
Thank you. It was a gut reaction from his refusal to stand by me.
That's what the surprise is, that's what the misdirection is. Yeah. That's what we find funny. Something that shouldn't have happened or doesn't usually happen. And that's why the funniest person you know isn't a professional comedian.
Yeah.
It's your dad or your granddad or your uncle. It's like being stupid, it's only painful for others.
Well, good point. I want to mention the driver starting from last place had quite the morning on a drive through the countryside yesterday. The driver is Shen Dun Ning and drives the black and white Mercedes AMG. While on a spirited drive through the nearby countryside, his rental car stopped working. While waiting on hold for the car agency, an off-road truck lost control down the nearby hill and ran over Ning's car. Not only was the car totaled, but an injury to his left leg and a few minor scrapes sent him to the hospital, thus missing qualifying. He'll have his work cut out for him, coming from last place. With pole position, Silva looks good coming into the race as a favorite. His parents were originally from Brazil, but they fled that country when he was 3 years old. They wound up in Lake Tahoe with $50 in their pockets. His father got a job washing dishes at Harrah's Casino. Fast forward a few years, after attending the prestigious University of California at Berkeley with his undergraduate degree, here he is trying to win today. His closest nemesis from Germany, Hannah Heels-Heisch. As an 8-year-old, she contracted scarlet fever, and that left her hips and knees with severe arthritis. Walking is painful, but sitting's not. At a birthday party of a friend, she tried go-karting and found something she could become passionate about without the pain associated with so many other activities. Will she be able to make the pass into first place? We also have a movie star among us. From the classic 80s movie 16 Candles, you may remember Michael Jake Schofling. The driver on the grid ahead of Jake's name sounds familiar. I wonder if Molly Ringwald's in the audience. Toss in our unlucky last place driver, Shen Dun Ning, and we have a spectacular lineup for this race. In the GT World Challenge, they use a rolling start so the cars line up on a formation lap and order by qualifying. They will be going 43 miles an hour while they await the green lights to indicate the start of the race.
I was in the gym once, believe it or not.
How'd that work out for you?
This is more nerve-wracking.
As the cars round one of the last corners on their formation lap, we're waiting for the lights to go green. The cars hold position until they do see those green lights. And the lights are green! The GT World Challenge race at Imola Grand Prix circuit is underway. We see a lot of movement throughout the pack as they head down the track. Into what is technically the second turn, it looks like Sil Schisler in the green Ferrari is taking second place away from Heels Heesh. And the yellow Mercedes Dong is fighting to get the place back from Ryan Schofling. So much action. Oh no, a huge crash with Dong hitting the back of Jake's car, sending them both off track. Jake is worse off facing backwards. While Long Dong has to get clear of the sand, he'll be back on the track. I need to not call him that, lest the FCC might have words with us. Wow, that puts Jake back in 18th place with a visibly shaken car and Dog into 16th.
Pop star is another word for junkie.
What kind of junkie?
This will bring me down a peg or two.
Wait, what is that on the dash of Duck Dog? That has to be the most annoying ad placement in the world. Is that an inflatable strawberry cup holder? What is this woman coming to? Oh, Dong is into the back of Fournier, who spins in the Minerali section of the track. That is not good for Dong's reputation, being involved in 2 crashes this early in the race. Here is Jesus Azul Torres from 12th place challenging the 8th place driver of Christensen.
And I think I like Jesus more because he was a bit of a superhero.
Superhero? He's a Mexican driver and prefers to be called Jesus, not Jesus.
I liked his human half more than his God half.
This driver cam perspective gives you a pretty good sense of what the driver sees and how he plans his pass attempts. They round the last corner as they head toward the end of lap 1 with Silva in the lead, followed by Schisler and Heesh. Dong's making his move on the Lexus of Masaki. The Dong is into 14th place with Smirnov just ahead. Smirnov better watch out because the Dong, he's a fast driver. He'll be on him in no time. Not to mention Dong being a car magnet so far in this race.
Riding a bike, I'm riding a bike. You know, it's amazing to get good at stuff and find stuff out, or to try and get good at stuff.
Sadly, Longa Dong, he's good at hitting other cars where they're facing the wrong direction and he's facing the right direction. He's pretty good at that. Not to sound remorseful about my comment to the silly smoothie ad, but an ice cold beverage like that does sound remarkably good right now.
I came to university to join a band.
Like a music band? Oh, there it is. Smirnoff went wide in turn 7 and Dong capitalized on a mistake, which is what you have to do in racing. Can you make it count?
And I was a working class kid.
Yes, he can. And for a bonus, there's no car-to-car interaction either.
And I did, when I could, my A-levels were physics, chemistry, and
Ricky,
biology.
excuse me for 1 minute. Second place is being contested by Heesh down the back straight.
I'm really clever.
Clever, yes you are. Schisler couldn't get the power down to the pavement after hitting the yellow curb. As the green AMG pulls alongside and past the green Ferrari, we again see the driver taking advantage of minor mistakes by another driver.
Then I suddenly thought, nah, I'll do philosophy.
Philosophy is a long way from comedy. How'd you get turned on to comedy and doing stand-up?
I wasn't a normal kid.
Who is, quote, normal as a kid? Or as an adult?
I felt like I was an experiment because and my sister taught me to read when I was 3.
Wait, reading at 3? My kids could barely count on their fingers at that age.
When I was about 8 or 9, I used to lie awake at night trying to imagine infinity.
Infinity is more than I can count on my fingers, but trying to imagine it, wow, that's out there. Can Torres capture 8th place? Look at the late braking. Ricardo style. Torres pulled on O'Dowd. Brilliant move.
I get into instrumental music because, again, it's pure.
Uh-oh, I thought Dong was going to ram into the number 92 Mercedes, but he didn't as he passed Sister Deacon. Is the Sister Deacon like a vicar? Never mind.
And I've never had a problem with spirituality or people believing in any god or whatever, or witches and warlocks.
Interesting grouping of words. God, warlocks, why not throw in dragons and unicorns?
I'm still wide-eyed about the world.
I like you. You make me laugh.
It's my job, it makes me money.
When you're on stage doing improv with the audience, does your brain like go blank and you can't think of anything to say? What happens then?
You know, think of it the next day.
Maybe we're not different since that happens to me regularly.
So many things that annoy me that evolution deniers. Deny something with less evidence.
I think you nearly popped a blood vessel throwing that one from so far away from the conversation. We just witnessed Tony Nice Guy Green pass Evangelista. In the last race, which is at night, Green would pull aside anytime a driver came up behind him and just let him pass easily. It's one thing to be friendly, but man, that's being a little too nice. I talked to him after the race, and he said that night races are really tough for him because the headlights and the mirrors blind him and he can't see it all. His solution was to be safe and let him pass. Wise move, Tony. He clarified that he is a nice guy, but not normally that nice. Dong has his sights set on the silver Aston Martin of Evangelista. Oh, Dong made a move on the outside in turn 2. That's a risky move, but it paid off as he moves into 11th place. You can see the rear end of Dong's car get loose as he tries to line up turn 4. That looked a little dirty from Evangelista as Dong lost control, but there might not have been that much she could do. A handful of cars get past Long Dong, including Schofling. Check your mirrors, Jake. Check your mirrors. By the look from this camera angle, it appears Whiskey O'Dowd has been doing some farming by plowing up the ground after turn 6. He's not the first, nor will he be the last. It's a good thing he didn't get stuck in the sand. He lost several places and is trying to regain ground on Christensen. I see what you see. Dong is closing in on Jake again. Who's gonna grab whose balls here? Oh, and that's a reference to the intro clip. Jake is doing a good job of keeping his car right in the middle of the track. It's a good defensive move, seeing how Duck Dong appears to be the faster and less damaged car.
Steve, after an extensive repair to the red Mercedes, Smirnov is leaving the pit area.
Off-track adventures are great if you have shorts on and you want to go hiking, but they're really not good for a race car. I can personally confirm this. If nothing else, Smirnov will get some good practice.
So I do try and sneak in something, and I think that they feel that they've gone through more of a process. And that's why I deal in taboo subject. I take them to a place they haven't been before. When I start on a contentious subject, I feel the tension. Like, oh, is this going to be all right? Are we being allowed to laugh? And I take them through a scary forest and out the other side. And it's always okay, and they, phew.
We can see Ming continuing to climb up from last place up through the cars. Here he is passing Deacon for 12th place. There is a lot of race left. Can he make it to the podium? The Jake-Dong standoff continues as they begin another lap. Dong taking the inside line on such a tight corner is not going to work on the next corner, unless he decides to dent the same quarter panel on Jake's car and spin them both out again. I'd like to call this what it is, bullying on the track. Dong has professional regard for the other drivers, but continues to purposely hit Schofling's car. Schofling needs to 1. Call him out for his bullying actions, 2. Set boundaries for future races, and 3. Document the bullying actions. That's one way to stop a bully.
I bite my tongue every 30 seconds because I'm not a psychopath and I worry about the consequences.
Yeah, there has to be 5 to 10 pounds of sand in both their cars. The red Mercedes AMG coming up behind Jake is Smirnov, and it's not for position. We just received notice from the stewards that Long Duck Dong has received a drive-through penalty for his actions against Jake.
But so what I try and do is try and make what I say defendable and, bulletproof. What I don't agree with is you shouldn't say something in case it hurts someone's feelings somewhere. Yeah. Well, f*** that.
Hurt feelings? Well, how about helping me bring the race to our audience? Glancing at the front of the race, we see the lead Silva has over the second and third place drivers.
You don't believe in respecting the freedom of speech for people who say things you don't agree with. You don't agree with freedom of speech. The only form of censorship is your right not to listen.
You have no intention of helping me, do you?
I just think that it's a slippery slope, and you're always one step away from book burning.
Steve, Michael Schofling is entering the pits. His crew is jumping mad at the abuse he endured from Dong on the track. Schofling is going to be retiring from the race.
I can't blame his crew for their anger. Dong did receive a penalty, but he still needs to serve it. It's a small condolence for a very capable driver. Best of luck to you, Michael Schofling. It appears the number 66 Lexus of Masaki is also in the pit area. We'll need to keep an eye out for him coming back on the track. Oh, Dong's car looks pretty wobbly out there as he continues his race. He turns in a little early and hits that yellow curve, sending him off track into the sand at turn 6. Did he sink into a patch of quicksand? How's that possible? Please have the track marshals investigate and render aid to Long Dong. Dig him out or something. Throw him a rope. Have someone jump in holding a rope. Do something. Well, I doubt he'll need to serve that penalty.
That I can't imagine. Blows my mind.
Now a word from this episode's sponsor. Fashion is not exclusive to the runways of Milan. With the continued success of camo in our clothing lexicon, it seems fitting to include it with our lifestyle choices. Golf, while storied with business deals, chilled beverages, and broken clubs, is not immune to the success of camo. From the inventor of the Pet Petter and Hyena Cologne comes the new product, Camo Golf Balls. Be the fashionista of your next golf outing with these stylish golf balls. They not only look good, but they have been known to show up unnoticed on the green after the first stroke. Place your pre-order now at the link below to be the first to own a set of golf balls that will bring parity to the course. Camo golf balls, the ones you need. Azul Torres takes advantage of Richie hitting the yellow curb on the inside of turn 3 and bouncing literally off track. It appears Richie is stopping his car. Perhaps he has a mechanical problem from hitting that curb so hard that sent his car airborne.
My neck, so much pain. Send the doctor.
Yikes, send the EMTs quickly. Johnson, the black number 22 McLaren, has caught up to Schisler in the green Ferrari. Third place could change hands here in the second to last lap.
How arrogant are you to think that you deserve to go through life with no one ever saying anything that you don't agree with or like? If you're so fragile that you think that a joke about someone can destroy it, well, you need something else then. It's nonsense.
Regardless, I'm moving on. In the race, we just saw Schisler run wide coming out of turn 12, and Johnson was able to make the pass into second place. Through the S's at turns 14 and 15. Uh-oh, I'm hoping to see a better camera angle, but it looked like Schisler clipped the back of Johnson and he spun off track. Yes, that's the case, and we see Johnson navigating his way back onto the track. And we just caught a glimpse of the green car number 333, a nice guy green off the track. Let's hope for a replay so we can see who was involved. We can see Silva in the lead as it begins the last lap of the race. Look at the smooth, clean lines he takes through the turns. He has been flawless all day. Here's the replay of green. Let's see. Richard Payne makes me madder than a wet hen. Such excess. This is digital jungle gym. It doesn't look like nice guy has anyone to blame. Here we see Evangelista closing in on the white Acura of Fournier. The gray Aston Martin is pulling closer. But Fournier running off the track, that'll make it an easy pass. Heading down the front straight, Fournier is keeping it close. Turns 2 and 3 usually offer a good passing opportunity. Let's see what happens. I always like to ask my guest host a word from the dictionary to see if they know what it means. Ricky, do you know what the word peregrination means?
There's 13 countries I can't even visit. They're the 13 countries I don't want to go to.
That's in the correct realm of travel, but specifically it means travel from one place to another, especially on foot. Oh, look at all that air under Evangelista's car. She caught the inside curve. A bollard in the sand? No! Oh, what a horrible crash. What a shocking end of the race. Silva crosses the finish line just after that surreal accident.
Because we could say that intelligence and education is a bit of luck.
We just received word that Richie has a medical condition called testicular torsion. With immediate medical care, he should be okay. I had a friend in high school who had that. He lost a testicle to it. I can't think of Uniball pens without thinking about him. On the podium today, in first place is Lucas Steak Silva of Brazil. Second place is Hannah Heels Heisch of Germany. Sylvester Sil Schisler of Belgium. Congratulations to them and the rest of the drivers. Audience, in the comments below, be sure to vote for who you thought the driver of the day was. This concludes our broadcast for today. Ricky, thank you for filling in for my absent co-worker. I hope you enjoyed your time. Do you want to do this again sometime?
I do. I've sort of got two answers. I'd like to think it was because I was lazy, but it makes me feel better because I wasn't being nasty.
On that note, please consider giving to the Alzheimer's Association, link below, so they can accelerate global research for early detection and maximizing quality healthcare for those in need. As a final thought, I'd like to share this with the audience. Negative people need drama like it's oxygen. Stay positive and take their breath away. Until next time, we're out of here. In the GT world, Schisler couldn't get the power down on the Schisler couldn't get the power down on.
Steve, Michael Schofling is entering the pits. His crew is jumping mad. Take away that football from him.